Hello everyone. It's April the 6th today, and we just came out of this powerful stretch of solar flares between March 28th and April the 2nd. If you go back to the recordings I made on this new moon, which was here on April the 1st, you will find that I already kind of foresaw that this would be an extremely powerful activation time as we go into April, and it sure proved to be so. Let me go step by step. First of all, the sun is connected to human consciousness. We, as the collective, we are in sync with the solar consciousness, and when we are generating a certain frequency, the sun is picking up on that and responding and producing whatever activity is helping to get this wave even bigger, to make the transformation even faster, evolution kicking into higher gears, and that's where we're at right now. So let's go into astrology for a little bit, and I start with this chart, which kind of puts it all in a nutshell. It's all about healing. Healing on all the many levels, karmically, in this lifetime, through the lineage of our ancestors. It's on so many levels, and there's an extreme potency, an extreme openness in that sense for things to fall in place, to be recognized and to put into the proper place. And it's all about remembering. Keep that in mind. If we remember a certain frequency, if we are able to go back to where the wound was created mentally, with our imagination, with our emotions, that very remembering is the healing process. It's as simple as this. So why do I focus on this chart? Well, first of all, this is the opposition of Hygeia, which is all about health and well-being, and Uranus. And this opposition has been in orb for weeks and months already. It has just become most exact. There will be one more position. You see, Hygeia right now is in retrograde mode, so Hygeia will go retrograde a little further and then kick back forward, and there will be a third and final opposition. But the second one is almost always the one where things are most deep. It's the center point of the usually three alignments. With most of the planets we have three connections, particularly in the oppositions. So the central one here between Hygeia and Uranus, this is definitely all about healing and bringing the frequency up to a higher level. And you see in the collective global chart here for Greenwich, we have the Sun and Chiron and Mercury here pretty exactly on the 7th house cusp, and with Jupiter and Neptune at the 6th house cusp, which is all about healing and integration. That is helping in a big way. Okirowi is here too, which always works as an amplifier. And the Sun and Chiron here, particularly at the 7th house cusp, this is an indication that is the theme: healing, pulling layers back of all which has been gone wrong, all the abuse, all the things we have suffered through. And by remembering, by going consciously back there, we can undo all that and bring us to a much higher frequency level. And as we're cutting through all these abuse themes on all levels, we become more open emotionally and are able to connect with one another on deeper layers. And that is what is truly promoting the evolution of consciousness, pushing it to a higher level. That's what we're doing right now in this month of April. Interesting that the moon in this chart at 25 degrees and 33 minutes here in Taurus. This degree will be super important in the upcoming two eclipses. I just show you here, this is the partial solar eclipse of April the 30th, the last day of that month, and you see this is the degree of the descendant in this chart. And also here we have the 10 degrees Taurus, which is standing out as the point where the two planets meet, actually the sun and the moon. And that is, I want to just show you quickly how important this chart also is, which I have repeatedly been pointing out. That is the beginning of the Chinese year, and that's where we had Uranus and Hygeia here already in this strong opposition. That was the Aquarius new moon every year. This is the time when the Chinese celebrate their new year, and the Chinese wisdom is extremely old. It probably goes back thousands of years further than we think of, further than recorded history. You know, if you follow my channel, I often speak about the I Ching, also part of the Chinese wisdom, very, very deep stuff. So this chart already gave it away in many ways that this would be a central theme, the healing, and this was actually just a few days prior to the first opposition of these two. Here Hygeia was in forward mode, that was early February, so meanwhile Hygeia has moved backwards again and is now opposing Uranus again. Exactly. So that's about the 10-degree Taurus mark, where, as I showed you, is where the sun and moon will meet on the last day of this month. And let me just show you one more chart here. So that was the partial solar eclipse. You see it here too in small with the 25-degree Taurus mark. Actually pretty much exactly what we have here with the moon 2538. You see, it's amazing how the universe works, how exact these aspects are when they are really clicking in. And then the following lunar eclipse in May, and I will enlarge this chart to show you. Once again we have the 24-degree Taurus here, and now even the sun is here at the sunrise point here. So this is definitely a most powerful moment. It will be mid-May when that lunar eclipse will be exact. Really the beginning of a new era, you could say. So up to then we are still building, we are still clearing, healing, working on all those dark themes to bring them into the open. And if we go back now to this present chart, one thing stands out overall is this trine between Pluto and Sedna, which actually won't get exact. I just checked this morning. Pluto is moving extremely slow now. Pluto will go into retro mode by, let's just look at it once more here, by the 29th. You can see it here. So Pluto is moving much slower right now than Sedna. Has caught up to 1 minute of arc, and that will be exact on the 8th. So what does that mean? It means that basically the planet of highest degree will be Sedna for all that time. Sedna is all about abuse and all these dark themes, which usually have been repressed and are hidden in the psyche, all the alien worlds of our psyche. Sedna rules the deep sea, is mute, speechless in that sense. So one has to really tune in and listen to get in contact with that powerful deity. The interesting thing is this trine is helping a lot to tune into those deeper levels and generate a harmonious frequency of transformation. Interesting, I put that also out in my last reading, is that all planets are pretty much contained between these two big players. I want to show you this here, which gives you the bigger picture without the outer ring. It's sometimes easier to see. So I pointed out already last time in my recording, it's the 13th degree of Aries here, which is the center point, and that's pretty much where we are right now. So let's just scroll down here through a few charts which I have here lined up for you. I won't go too deep in each, but just point them out. So Pholus turned retrograde just a few minutes actually before the Mars-Saturn conjunction yesterday. I went deeper into this in my Mars-Saturn recording. Interesting is though that this point, that's where the moon will be farthest away from Earth this month. We get to that place, so it's all about, again, unearthing dark stuff, and Pholus is the one which takes the cork out of the bottle. All of a sudden it's a big release of what has been under pressure. Pholus is a force when activated which makes us take this final step after having procrastinated, then stood there at the edge of the jumping board, of diving board, and we were kind of hesitant, and then Pholus comes in, activates, and says, okay, now is the moment, now let's do it. So this is all related to this Mars-Saturn square conjunction of yesterday. This was then a few minutes later, you see, when they were exact. And Mars-Saturn here at 22 degrees, there's a lot of stuff going on in the 22 degrees marks. Naturally, first and foremost, the nodal axis here, exactly T-squaring Mars and Saturn, bringing them into full focus. Mars-Saturn again is the breakthrough moment of taking on the lead, being resolute and decisive on what matters most. It's a bend or break point. If we look at the midpoints between those squares at 7 degrees here in cardinal signs, we have that other powerful structure which I will make another video about soon: Salacia, Maki-Maki, Quaoar and Pholus. And again, Pholus just turned direct something like an hour prior to this Mars-Saturn conjunction. So this all is amplifying each other. Again, we have the Hygeia-Uranus opposition here, very pronounced in this chart, which leads back to where we started. So you see, it really zooms in on one theme. This is Mercury Palace as of today, exact, earlier today. Mercury Palace, when they are starting their new cycle, this is about recognizing patterns. And again, we have Sedna here. Interesting, again, that main theme of recognizing patterns is about darkness, shadows, and abuse themes on all levels. That's what is about to be cleared right now on planet Earth, globally, collectively, individually, on all levels. So if you have something of that sort come up, yes, sit with it, be with it, give it attention, and allow to be taken back to these situations and bring them into the light. That's all which matters. Once the light is there hitting it, and it will do its job. That's the wonderful thing about nature. All we have to do is to get the process started. The rest will happen naturally, as we say. The next chart here is Jupiter entering a very dark hexagram, also happening today, actually just about as I'm doing this recording. Jupiter is dipping into this area 22, 37 and 30 seconds of arc is the ingress point here of hexagram 36, darkening of the light. Interesting that Neptune already is in this hexagram now for about a week, I guess, and a few days from now, as you all know, Jupiter and Neptune will have their one and only conjunction in this hexagram. It's all about, again, bringing light into the dark. That's what it is, because Jupiter, wherever it is, it will expand, it will bring its great energy into this segment of the zodiac. So everything which is hidden in the dark is now even more forcefully coming to the forefront and triggering this spiritual breakthrough into a higher dimension, which we are really working on right now, everyone in their own right. So these are extremely intense times naturally. And then, yes, tomorrow that will be Quaoar also turning retrograde, and the moon here at the opposition point of the galactic center, very close to the black moon here, and then just a few hours later the moon will be exactly at the farthest point from Earth. Now, some of you might wonder why these 2 points are not identical. The black moon is the mean lunar apogee. It is kind of the axis around which the moon's farthest place from Earth is, as they say, osculating. It's kind of like a waveform, shifts around this degree. So at the actual moment when the moon will be farthest from Earth, it will be at 1 degrees 50 here in Cancer, and you remember that is where the Pholus descendant was. Just bring that back here, so you see that it's all coming together, forming one theme. And then if we go, that is the one I just showed you. And this is then the final chart of this recording. I want to stop here and then make another one, and I'll show you in a second what that will be about. So the final chart is when Uranus enters hexagram 2. That is 13 degrees 15 in Taurus, the initial point of that hexagram, which is the receptive, which is very strongly connected to Earth. It's the 6 broken lines, an extremely receiving openness of just allowing energies and the universe to penetrate. So this will be a phase of upgrading the frequencies, of being fully open to the influences from the higher spheres, and this is just starting tomorrow evening in earnest. What is super interesting in this chart again is that Uranus is in the 6th house, the house of healing and health and practical application of that energy. So there's more layers to that, but it's a deep opening of receptivity to the higher Uranian frequencies. And finally here, yes, that one more chart I wanted to add on here quickly is the first quarter moon of the 9th, then, which will be the midpoint between the 1st of April new moon in Aries and then the full moon upcoming. So this is an activation point, and again we have Sedna here. Yes, you can't overstate that. Sedna is the energy of the moment, and with Pluto in midheaven, and you see again Sedna is just a tidbit ahead, 28:30 versus 28:29. Pluto in midheaven, it's all about transformation and opening ourselves to a new direction. Okay, thanks for listening. The next one I will focus on the solar flares, the recent ones, and show you how they integrate in the bigger picture, and it is truly amazing. You won't believe it, you have to see it. So yes, give it a like or whatever, and subscribe, that's for sure you should do, so you are in the loop, as I'm again locked out of Facebook. So yeah, anyway, you find me also on Telegram. I just should mention that once more for those who haven't gone there yet. Telegram, Celestial Rhythms. I'm posting astrology and also here and there some other interesting things which you can't see in the normal feeds. Okay, that's it for now, and talk to you soon.